We will now be commencing with the last session for the day, New Technologies and its Implementation for the Ease of Insurance. The integration of new technologies is transforming the insurance industry, making it more efficient, customer-friendly, and accessible. The session will delve into the role of emerging technologies and how their implementation is driving ease of insurance across the value chain. Discussions will primarily focus on exploring how startups and tech-driven companies are reshaping insurance with innovative products, streamlined processes, and enhanced customer experiences, understanding the impact of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and automation in underwriting, claims processing, and risk assessment to improve operational efficiency. I would like to invite the moderator for the session, Mr. Nitin Saxena, Partner, Tech Enablement, Financial Services, KPMG India. Our panelists, Rajiv Gupta, President, PB Fintech. Mr. Pranshu Diwan, Chief Business Officer, Paytm Insurance Broking. Mr. Sharad Mathur, Managing Director and CEO, Universal Sompo General Insurance. Mr. Animesh Das, Managing Director and CEO, ACO General Insurance Company Limited. Over to you, Mr. Saxena.
I think this is working. Thank you for the brief introduction. Given that we are going to short of time, we'll kind of try to keep it sweet and sharp. Just to start the panel, right? Again, we have discussed since the morning the evolution of business model, the evolution of product, the evolution of the outreach, training. We covered in some of bits of pieces, right? But fundamentally, the industry as a whole has been evolving on the backbone of technology, right? So as a starting thought, probably I want to give 30 seconds to every panelist in terms of what are the different technologies or emerging areas that they are seeing that are kind of having an impact on the larger industry ecosystem per se, and what are the specific challenges or areas that they are seeing in implementing those specific use case or technology. Let's start with a 30-second thought on that, and then probably we can deep dive into specific tech. Animesh, why don't you go first?
Hi Nitin. I think first of all, very grateful to be part of the event. I think we are touching upon a lot of very important agendas and happy to contribute. I think one, while we know that a lot of technology around AI, ML is out there, most of us understand what are the global good use cases, but what is needed is a big shift in mindset that one I'll just add that technology is no more driving just efficiency. I think it's in the core now. So it's very important to understand that technology should be the core of what you're trying to build instead of just thinking of it as an incremental lever. So that's very, very fundamental, which I think management of most of the setups out here has to have to think about. And second major part is I think that it has to be seen as a long-term investment instead of thinking about short-term gains. So these two things should be kept in mind to kind of pick it up. I think we'll discuss more use cases, but once you apply these two larger lens, a lot of the things get unlocked actually.
Thanks, Animesh. Sharad, any opening thoughts from you?
Yeah, thanks. So I think technology, whether it is ranging from customer onboarding, customer services, or using artificial intelligence besides all automated processes, adaptation is something which I see a bigger challenge amongst customers or distribution partners or vendors or even employees to some extent as we intend to reach to the last mile. And as it's a challenge, there is some potential solution also that using Gen AI, which we can use as one of the fundamental tools to spread awareness, and which is easy in terms of the outcomes, easy explanations, FAQs, glossaries, and so on. So easy to spread awareness amongst all stakeholders. So adoption, as of now, I see one of the most fundamental challenges.
Understood. Pranshu?
Great to be here. I think insurance is fundamentally the art and science of, on one side, understanding consumer anxiety, and on the other side, being able to predict risk properly and more as efficiently as possible. So I here represent digital platform, right? So we're not fundamentally insurance first. We have a lot of customers on map who haven't come for insurance, and therefore, for us, we challenge as well as the opportunity to use technologies to innovate on products, work for insurers, work for insurers, solve for underwriting, simplify the distribution, whether even if the distribution starts offline or online, on the app or embedded, all of it eventually goes into the app. The underwriting risk models are on the app. Who sees what product, what's insured. And because the customers come for us, right, and in that process is also buying insurance, the claims experience therefore becomes vastly more important. Because we could end up losing a customer that we got over many years because of one bad insurance policy, right? So we're leveraging technology to be far more integrated into the claims experience. And in that context, all the various tools of new age, high tech as well as low tech, whether it is AI, ML, whether it is simple API, whether it is integrations, QRs is a very important subset of technology for us, and so on. So that's how we see the landscape of technology as it applies to us.
Rajiv, why don't you go?
Yeah, I think Policy Bazaar and Paisa Bazaar both have been new age technology companies, and we use technology more heavily than most other players. And I think over these years we have seen that while we have grown in volumes, we started in 2008. Certainly AI, both conversational and generative AI and blockchain have helped us to bring in efficiencies. I mean, particularly fraud detection, processing multiple calls which we get every day. I think we get thousands of calls every day once people visit our website. Now processing those calls quickly at the end of the day, summarizing what is the expectation of each customer has certainly been helpful to improve productivity amongst our call center employees. Overall, I think as an online company, we used to face challenges as far as fraud detection was concerned. But now with AI coming in, fraud detection has become far more easier. And I think we are using analytics to come out with data where we clearly see frauds happening.
Understood. Sharath, probably I will take the first question to you, given that you represent the industry which has existed for a very long time, and then I will go to the rest of the ecosystem. From a perspective of, let's say, incorporating newest technologies, whether it is AI, either from a machine learning perspective or from a generative AI perspective, or let's say even other technologies like Pranshu was mentioning, either QR codes or other pieces, right? All of those have specific areas or specific use cases which have been built out over a period of time. But in terms of the, let's say, the next decade, which technologies do you see which are going to play a specific role in the overall policy life cycle, and at what all stages? And some of the use cases which you are trying to currently incorporate in the organization or seeing in the industry, if you can talk about that, that will be helpful.
Yeah, so it's very interesting now in current times. Until some time back, industry was working a lot on automation, as I mentioned a while ago. Now we see that most of the processes, whether customer acquisition directly B2C model or B2B2C model, distribution partners are also acquiring customers on portal. So everything is automated, and claims management to a larger extent is also automated. So something new which is emerging is artificial intelligence, and in customer life cycle, whether it is pricing decision, so whether customer is buying directly or any intermediary using a portal onboarding customer. So things like say example health insurance use case, discount in form of good health habits, someone smoking, frequency of that, or consuming alcohol, frequency of that. Until now, it used to be done manually. If someone is consuming alcohol and frequency is very high, so no discount or 10% loading on premium. So now you just incorporate this in system, and system will throw up the final price. So which is basis machine learning. Artificial intelligence is playing a pivotal role here. Then claims management also, we have automated processes. So I'm just trying to distinguish between automation and artificial intelligence. So in recent past, we have seen live video streaming, that insurance companies, claims manager in office seeing through live video streaming any damaged vehicle in garage, repair garage, and assessing it and making a decision. So now in the AI age, damage is assessed. So like there are apps, you just open that app and click photo directly will go there. So which is cutting fraud, any scope of fraud. Directly it's going in the app, and it is getting determined the extent of loss. That is also throwing an outcomes like whether it is repairable damage or it requires a replacement. So it is making it very easy by reducing human intervention. And as it is a result of AI automated, accuracy is very high, fraud is very low. So it is very beneficial for insurers, and if it is commercially beneficial for insurers, so that benefit in terms of amicable claim settlement, in terms of reduction in premium rates for at the time of renewals or even for potential prospects, that way it becomes commercially feasible for all stakeholders. Also fraud detection with lots of test cases, whether it is health, it could be motor insurance, geography related, or any specific intermediary. So those behaviors are getting captured, and any repeated instance is very difficult to figure out manually. So when it is getting detected by way of ML and AI, it again becomes very easy. And also customer services for any query, like in yesteryears we used to call insurance companies call center. Nowadays we have chatbots, virtual assistant if someone is logging into company's website, or voice bots, and they are multilingual, natural language processing multilingual voice bot, so making it very easy in terms of interaction for any variety of customers, any segment of customers, any location, interiors, metro, mini metros. Then we are still not in vogue much, but still the most emerging is WhatsApp bot. So where customer doesn't have to log into the website or any digital tool or digital asset of the insurance company, can interact, obtain quote, or send any query and get a response using WhatsApp bot. So these are some of the technologies which are currently emerging. Some of them are fast getting established. And another things to make a mention briefly is drone. For crop especially, it is making a lot of sense. Otherwise, it is very difficult manually to go to interiors, hinterland, and try to assess the damage of crop. Rather, when during the year, using drones, we can always gauge the crop growth, pesticides, the way they are being sprayed, and so on. So many things, rather than awaiting damage to happen and then send drones or manual management to figure out the extent of loss. So I think some of these things will going to, or I think most of these things will going to get established and will bring digital revolution in the insurance sector, insurance landscape, completely will undergo a change. And to conclude, these things will uphold the accomplishment of end objective, which is insurance inclusion and reaching to the last mile.
Thanks, Sharath, for that. Animesh, just bouncing it off with you, right? Practically, when Echo came into the picture, you kind of revolutionized around processes, right? Completely redesign or relook at the process from a tech-first angle, right? Which all products or which all areas which you see as a tech-first design are gonna be heavily impacted by the technologies we have been talking about? Sharad touched upon crops. A vehicle is very well known, right? But fundamentally, what are the different changes, both in terms of the product design and the process design, both from a customer centricity perspective as well as from the end servicing perspective, which you are envisaging and incorporating currently?
I think there's a very first principle concept to it. One is at a broad level, whatever humanly was not possible is something which was untapped, and technology allows you to kind of tap into that. That's one. Reach, last mile reach, all of those situations can be handled. I think one larger lens to apply here is, see, when we think about any product, right, it's very important to think it from a complete cycle, starting from how do you reach out to the customer, what is the communication, what product are you designing for them, then the after sales, even the renewal, the lifetime value which you are getting, how are you engaging with them, right? So all these touch points have to thought through in one go instead of just solving one piece at a time, right? So if you apply that lens, I think most of the problem statements will be very clear. And like Sharad mentioned, most of the use cases he mentioned, I think one of the thing which Chairman sir was also touching upon in conversations, the last mile rural insurance as well, right? So there's so many things which can be done. And I'm saying very fundamental thing. One of the point which we started with, what are the challenges industry is facing? The whole legacy tech is where we need to come out of and think it afresh altogether. Simple thing is even mobile app, right? Today, the insurance adoption, in insurance world, at least the adoption of mobile app itself is so low. If you think about any other domain, right? Be it telecom, be it banking and all, the insurance app, the app penetration has been high, and that has helped people to actually go to the next tier of cities or even the last mile, right? There have been gaming apps, right? And obviously, those not the best examples, but they have penetration across in the rural India as well, right? So somehow, if you think about the whole customer backward solution of the product, these can be small ticket size product as well, but you have to think it from that angle, and then most of the products make sense then.
Understood. Again, Pranshu, since Animesh mentioned that effectively in terms of the last mile reach, right? Distributors either ways have a very strong play in the insurance industry vis-a-vis others, right? And given that players like Paytm already operate on an ecosystem of customers, and insurance is one of the larger bouquet of products that you will offer on the platform. From a tech perspective, APIs have existed for some time, and that integration SDKs have existed for some time, right? But fundamentally, let's say with voice, AI, and let's say multilingual support coming in for generative AI, right? What are those specific use cases that you are seeing on your platform, especially for, let's say, a tier 4, tier 5 kind of a city? Because again, insurance will require some amount of knowledge transfer or education to the end customer as well, both from the person who is reaching out or supporting in the buying process as well as the customer, right? So what are those specific use cases that you are seeing on the platform?
So a lot of use cases, right? So just to take 1 minute to explain how we sort of distribute insurance. So we're a platform. We have merchants on one side and customers on the other side. Our distribution modes are three. Either a product which is a sachet product which is embedded into the journey, so you come to pay your electricity bill, you maybe get a gadget insurance which can then be added up, that is to upsell to a full stack home plus contents insurance, or an OPD product sold as a monthly subscription and then again upsold to a full health insurance. We obviously have a huge amount of business coming directly on the app, right? So while a customer is on the app for something else, through very sharp targeting for that cohort with the right product already, knowing prior data, we're able to target the customer and offer him a product and the right pitch that makes sense for him. And the third model of distribution, which is where tier 3, tier 4 comes in, is we use our network of merchants, right? So we have, the chairman also alluded to it, and that is actually a complex problem, right? Because it is very difficult to bring in all merchants in the nuances of insurance, right? So you have to make the journey itself to some extent easier to do. What we do is we have QRs, right? So even today on the insurance section, I can share a QR, I can show you a QR, I can share it on WhatsApp. The customer that clicks on it or scans the QR goes back into the journey, and the journey then takes care of customizing the right product for the right customer, right? So and we are able to do this because we have prior data, right? Because the customer is already on the app, I know the location, perhaps I know what segment, what transaction size and so on, right? So to give you very specific examples, on the merchant side, we have a very large base of shop insurance. Now, shop insurance for SMEs is a very tricky category because of frauds that happen figuring out under insurance, over insurance and so on. So because all journeys culminate in the app, what sum assured you see versus what I see, he may not even see shop insurance because there's a certain risk scoring around it, and this is all obviously through data exercises with insurers such as ACO, Digit, and so on. We're able to filter out the right risk and target the right customer while still making a product which is more logical to you. The problem with the traditional product sense is that every product has like 50 features, and not all 50 features matter to you. What we are able to do, and this is something that we're trying to experiment and figure out, a lot of work on conversational AI, for now on support, but also on renewals, and eventually we hope at some point on actual sales is going on so that you actually talk to someone, but the person is not real human, right? So the whole science of how a telecaller figures out what matters to you, conveys it to you, what magnetizes it to you, contextualizes it to you, can that be done by an AI agent? And those are the kind of things that we're now working on. And that is, in doing that, AI, tech, all forms of tech are too.
Understood. Rajiv, probably my next question is to you. Since you mentioned that fraud and data sharing kind of go hand in hand together for the ecosystem, right? One of the use cases that we have seen overseas happening again and again, right, where people are talking about, let's say, especially in terms of top-up insurance products, where practically if you have taken health insurance for more than one insurer, instead of relying on the customer, why don't you bring out the claim data into a central blockchain kind, where all the players can directly refer and pick up the data from there so that you are not paying the same claim. Let's say two organizations not paying out the same claim to the customer, right? Now, that's a fundamental use case that are emerged across the globe and we talked about. What other use cases that you see in terms of either using blockchain or using ML in some form or shape that the industry can look at in the near future and probably should be enabled by the ecosystem?
So, for example, I'll give you one recent problem I think last 2 years ago we faced, where a lot of two-wheelers, were getting, a lot of commercial vehicles were getting insured as two-wheelers. And just the registration number and engine number, chassis number of a two-wheeler was given, and you were covering them as commercial vehicles. Now, the third-party insurance premium which you pay, for two-wheelers is insignificant, right, vis-a-vis commercial vehicles. So thousands of such frauds took place in the industry, and we were also one of those victims. And I think certainly the machine learning and AI data is helping us to come out with, point out such frauds. Because now we are able to integrate API, we are able to use Vahan data, we are able to check through the system, the engine number, chassis number matches with the vehicle. So this is one area certainly which has helped us, Second is obviously, non-hospitalization claims, where you spoke about health insurance and top up, but there are a lot of instances where customers go and, go to the nearest hospital whom they know, and they are not even admitted there, and they put up claims and such claims get passed. So through data, we are able to now identify which are those hospitals, what reputation do they have they been blacklisted in the past, So to that extent, I think certainly fraud detection has become far more effective. And our claims ratio to that extent has certainly improved a lot because of that.
Understood. Animesh, I'll come back to you. From the perspective of, let's say, since Rajiv mentioned that we are looking at data from multiple areas, right? With, let's say, data coming in from sensors, let's say you have dashboard cams becoming a reality. You have other data which is being generated by embedded systems in different vehicles, different areas. There's a lot of data that is being generated, right? And that data can be used both from a perspective of incentivizing customers as well as minimizing frauds, right? Fundamentally, how do you see, let's say, some of the insurance or the product lines changing with this IoT data coming in? And what will be the challenges that you see in the adoption of it?
No, I think it's already here. At least we are using it big time. Pransh also touched upon on that. We do figure out user level data to kind of price the user. They get their right premium for most of our products. So that's how it is. I think it's for us to grab that opportunity as an industry to kind of work on that. There's a lot of data pipeline, and I think it's hard, like it's not even 10% tapped, to be honest, right? There's very less data which is well organized. I think there's a lot of scope to further tap into the data and utilize it for the customer convenience, right? So give them the right price, make processes very easy for them, make the whole buying funnel very easy for them, right? I think there's a lot of opportunity out there, and I think we were touching upon on this topic before as well. I think that whole India stack where there's so much data, be it Aadhaar or anything else out there, there are a lot of conversation going on how to kind of simplify the whole KYC bit also, and can we make it more customized depending on the ticket size. If I'm a consumer who is buying two-wheeler insurance, it doesn't make sense to go through the whole KYC process. Just for anyways, it's 50% uninsured, and then you are asking me to do a KYC on top of it, right? So I think it's not just profitability, risk, fraud. All touch points can be solved through channelizing data in the correct manner. So it's already out here. I think we need to catch up to that opportunity.
Understood. You want to add something?
I think basically IoT has certainly helped us to come out with innovative products, right? I mean, of course, the first one was the pay as you drive. And you've seen people whose driving behavior is far better, or people who drive much lesser than compared to the others, are paying much lesser premium. And premiums are as low as 40-50%, and that's substantial saving for people. Wearing devices are also helping us to reduce health premiums. So I know of a company which every month calls up and says that as per the data we have, you've done so many steps. Last month your weight was so much, this month your weight is so much. You said you will do the following things. So you have not done, and there are points granted for that. And those points are again used to reduce your, premium in the coming year. So certainly IoT of things, wearable devices, sensors, be it in the car or in your home, are certainly helping efficient decisions and substantially bringing down the cost for the consumer as well. I think you'll certainly have more innovative products in the future, and this is going to be the future as well.
Pransh, you want to add anything?
So just building on that, so there is one part is actually getting access to as many data sources as possible, right? So telematics is a data source, civil data is a source, etc. The other part, which is the tougher part, and that is where insurers are learning and have to improve more, and also catch up with their renting and so on, is to how to utilize that data to identify patterns, right? And honestly, that, because the insurance industry has adopted AI data, propensity models, response models, ML models much later, and also the nature of industry, right? You don't understand a claim happening until 5 years ago. So it's exactly that, right? So even, for example, how long a particular customer takes to buy a product in the journey could be an indicator of risk or response, right? So on one axis, you figure out who's more likely to respond, and therefore who should you call, who should you not call, who should you send a WhatsApp. And on the other axis, you have risk, right? So there are a bunch of other patterns that you look at, right? So India stack adds to it, others add to it. But I think the fundamental problem that the industry has is how to make sense of it, right? Because we don't have as many practitioners in the insurance industry.
Understood. Probably my last question to the panel, and gonna be a little broad one. Shraddha, I'll start with you, but fundamentally, what we have talked about everywhere, all of these technologies, the backbone is still data, right? We still have to derive some amount of insights out of it, which is again gonna require some amount of compute, right? If I look at those two problems combined, data and compute, right? Cloud does have a role to play in the larger picture, right? So from a perspective of data, cloud computing coming together, how do you see the industry leveraging it for the benefit of the larger ecosystem?
So data is increasing, will going to increase as we are doing insurance inclusion and reaching to the last mile. If you see, even if quantum of premium is not increasing that exponentially, but I see number of policy holders or number of policies being issued every month, every year is increasing, and exponential growth is happening there. So this, if you see in how this can be leveraged in global markets, they see maximum wallet share of the customer. Each customer should have 3 to 4 insurance policies. In India, still we could not reach to such measurable parameters, but time is not far that we will start doing that. Now, as all this is increasing, lots of data, so cloud computing becomes sort of a necessity because it is agile in contrast with physical infrastructure. So physical infrastructure, one should not do away with. Insurers will continue to have, because legacy data is resting there and it is low cost, which is perfectly fine. But now in dynamic data situation, if we use cloud, it would be very easy. It is scalable. It can, in less than 10 minutes, you can put in your 10 times the existing data that you have. So scalability is there. It is very flexible, agile, little costly. So it is like pay as you use, not that your entire thing will going to shift in cloud. So and with lots of data there, it becomes data management becomes easy, and with that it gives you a lot of sense in terms of doing data predictive side of it, because currently in most of the insurance setups we do descriptive data or prescriptive data analytics, but predictive data analytics still is not happening full-bodied, comprehensively. So with data in most structured manner, easy to access way, predictive element which has been missing will start happening. And as this gets accomplished, it becomes easy for us to again reach to our end goal, which is looking at selling 3 to 4 policies to customer, tailor-made policies, reaching out to them, carrying out surveys, and then constructing products. Currently, we just develop product. Some product is happening well of competition. So another insurer or set of insurers will also develop that product. So me too product, because this is clicking, we also have this. Innovation is, okay, I have umbrella product, so I'll create variants of that product. So this we call innovation. But to my mind, innovation is, if we check with customers, what need they have. We might develop something which is very innovative, and more than innovation, it is just different. But is it meeting customers' requirements? So in case we have lots of coordinates of customers and data around, it becomes easy for us when we carry out a survey, and it becomes easy for us to construct our questionnaire that way. So we, in my organization, we do it, but it is very half-baked. So as we are progressing, I think we are inching towards this milestone. As this happens, I think then true innovation we will get to see, because customers will get what they want, and what customers want, if currently is not available, and that gets available. So that will also be an outcome of innovation, as well as meeting customer requirements. There will be a lot of offtake of whatever insurance companies are producing. So I think cloud computing is will going to be instrumental. So insurers are using, but I think accordingly, like it's pay and use kind of a setup. So mindfully if is done, it will going to again bring a lot of change the way matured countries are operating, where their contribution to GDP is almost 4 or 5 times than what India is sitting at. So that is the whole goal, where nation also progresses and becomes completely secured with insurance available to each and everyone and is bought by each and everyone.
Understood. Animesh, your thoughts on where do you think cloud computing is going to play the biggest role from?
No, I think while there are multiple pieces or multiple touch points which we can solve, I think the prime agenda of insurance for all by 2047, I think, is the untapped market. And it needs a rigor to find out, like I said, customer backward approach to kind of solve there. I think that last mile, missing middle, all these spaces, we have tried multiple things as industry and nothing is working out. I think or at least few of those things which are clicking are something where we need to scale up a lot, right? So the data availability and over there in those so one of the things which we have been anyways working as industry is tapping into the gram panchayats state by state, right? Each company has given a state to kind of work on that. I think there's a lot of data pipelines which are available over there. There are a lot of things which have to work, like parametric insurance is one piece. Like I'm just taking an example which we have been working on. There are catastrophic event where the parametric insurance will be helpful. All these things. So if I have to position or tag it correctly, I think cloud computing or data in general is a prerequisite to any of the innovation we have been thinking about, right? So that's how you should put it. It's a prerequisite. Everyone has to reach that level of baseline, and on top of it has to be built.
Understood. Pranshu, your closing thoughts?
I don't think you can imagine to this point, you can't imagine a tech layer without having cloud because it's not scalable, and the era of servers, large servers, mainframe servers sitting in the office is over. Right? And if you have to do it at efficiency, plus example like us, you deal it in small ticket products, right? So absolute margin per product is very low. You can't afford to, you need the cost to be low, right? The processing cost is very low. So there is no option but to use cloud computing and so on. And as your products become more granular, for example, as I said, we offer parametric insurance to our merchant, right? So just because the 5 elements cover, rainfall more than this, you get paid and so on. And so all those logics, and it's part of what we call it a merchant sati subscription package, which is services plus insurance. Now, for products like these, I cannot afford to have even a 1 rupee cost because I'm selling it at 49. Imagine that. Right?
Yeah.
And there are API calls, and we also fetch data and then auto trigger something and so on and so forth. And I can't afford to have a person also. So as you scale for volume, especially when you play in volume, your cost has to come down. Therefore, cloud computing is just something you can't.
Basically, personalization is scale kind of necessitates it.
I think clearly they've spoken about this in detail. Cloud computing certainly has helped us. Policy Bazaar from 0 to 16,000 crores last year, and maybe 4x from here, 4 years from now, wouldn't have been possible without cloud computing. I think the way we are able to scale infrastructure at low cost, completely, I mean, I would not say completely, but I think complete zero requirement of hardware to an extent, maintenance costs coming down. I think certainly these efficiencies have helped us to scale, And tomorrow, if I have to make inroads into tier 3, tier 4 cities, or I have to make inroads into markets which are yet not captured, I think certainly this is the only way we can make those inroads and grow.
Understood. I think we're done with the time. So thanks a lot, Animesh. Thanks, Sharad. Thanks, Pranshu. Thanks, Rajiv, for your time. Thank you, everyone, for hearing it out. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, speakers. Could you please come forward for a photograph? We would like to thank our esteemed speakers, panelists, guests, and our vibrant audience for a day full of truly engaging and insightful sessions. We would like to thank our partners, PhonePe, Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance, Bajaj Allianz General Insurance, Life Insurance Corporation of India, Khaitan Legal Associates, National Insurance Company Limited, Paytm Insurance Broking. We look forward to welcoming you all again next year. With this, we close the conference.